Okay, let's look at number 40. Identify which of the following statements is true regarding sinusoidal function. That's a fun word to say. Sinusoidal functions of the form. And then you have the normal formula that we use for trig functions. Okay, so if I look at A, it says changing the values of A affects the amplitude and the range. Well, earlier, if you look back at the video that talks about number 35, which actually goes through 34 through 37, there was a formula that we used to calculate A, and the range. And that formula was right here. It was negative absolute value A plus D, comma absolute value A plus D. And so A and D affect the range. So changing the values of A affects the amplitude and the range. Well, clearly A is the amplitude. It would also affect the range. So answer choice A makes a whole lot of sense. Answer choice B, changes the values of B affects the amplitude, is silly. So I don't even have to finish reading it. C says changing the value of C affects the period. That is true because C, if we look at this equation here, C is the phase shift, and oh, silly me, no it wouldn't. Because while C affects the phase shift, it's actually B that affects the period, right? It's not C that affects the period, it's B. So even I, Mr. Anderson, the Almighty, made a silly mistake here. The period would not be affected by C. So that answer choice would be wrong. And then D says changing the value of D. It's funny, D says changing the value of D affects the period. Well, no, the D value is not going to affect the period. The D value is going to affect the vertical values. Okay, so it's not going to affect the period. Period is a horizontal value, so that doesn't make any sense. And the only answer choice that does make sense is answer choice A, as in apples. Delicious apples. Which, by the way, apples are a great way to wake up in the morning. A little side note. They actually say that the sugar in the apple actually helps you to wake you up just as much as a cup of coffee. How awesome is that? Bet you didn't think you were going to get that out of this video. See you in the next one.